Well, we get the likelihood of working with people like Will on a daily basis is also because we often work with a lot of advertising agencies because it is true that teams and a number of different players can come together to bring that one awesome message, which Andre talked about earlier. So we're glad to be here today.
And I think, too, to elaborate on that a little bit more, too, look at us as the team that works for you guys as well. So Kris is an expert on all things radio. I'd like to say that I'm an expert on all things PSA for outdoor. And so where Andre was talking about building that team, we may not necessarily work for your organization, but as long as we are in a partnership with you guys, we are just as invested in your organizations as we are in any traditional advertising campaigns as well. So a brief kickoff of why are we here. We just thought, and Will definitely thought, that there was a big importance to discussing some of the marketing and advertising strategies behind being a nonprofit, and making sure that you're media ready when you're ready to get there. So we're going to talk about the amazing things and what Andre talked about with the media campaign for the Rethink campaign. And your organizations may not be there yet, but we want to make sure that when you are, and when you have those funds there, and when you have those donors that are looking to donate to your organizations, you're ready and ready to run with it to make the correct choices for what's going to work best for your organizations and do what you need it to do.
Along with that, there's kind of two schools of thought. Some people don't have the party yet. They invite everybody to the party, which means that you're not media ready. Other people have this beautiful layout. They put the candlesticks out, the appetizers. The whole table is set with a bouquet of flowers. They've got this amazing thing that their company does, but they've never invited anybody to their party, and they've never told anybody what they do. That's where their messaging is so important.
And then backing up to what Will had said earlier about the media habits are changing on everybody. So there's no longer one direct way to talk to who your target is. There's so many different avenues to reach all the different people that could impact your organizations directly. So we just want to touch on that as well.
And obviously, defining just advertising in its most simple terms. The process by which a business or a person calls attention to their need and demonstrates how it can best meet the need. The goal, obviously, for us today and for you guys is to capture the attention of those most likely to purchase or help out and move them to action. You don't need to affect everyone, just one person. And the truth is, how can you delight that niche of people? Delight that niche of people that's going to help you get to the next level.
So we decided to take a step backwards and look at what PSA advertising looked like over the course of the years. So back in the 70s, or probably when most of us were growing up, we all had lemonade stands. Well, that was our earliest sticking our toes in the water and getting our feet wet with the advertising. The 15-cent lemonade stands was pretty genius back then, but we've evolved since then and have different strategies now. Back in the 70s, people were exposed to about 500 ad images a day, which still, 500 is a lot of ad exposures. Well, when you crank forward to 2014, on average, we have over 1,000 choices of where our advertising mediums come from, how we get tackled and how we get talked to, and all the touch points in which we encounter every day, with an estimated 5,500 messages thrown at us on an everyday basis. So what are you doing to stand out from the clutter?
We typically see the two approaches. One is total paralysis of analysis. Let's just do nothing. It's like when you go to the grocery store and you stand in front of the cereals and you can just stare at all of them, even though you know that you're going to come home with Raisin Bran every time, or maybe something a little bit more fun. But you just stare there and you don't know what to do. Well, just imagine you have money, you need to spend it, or you need to get your message out, and there's LinkedIn. Should I be tweeting? Should I be on Google Plus? Should I have a radio message? Should I go to this community group? I have no idea what to do. So it's a paralysis of analysis. And those people, they just do nothing. And it happens all the time. Or it's this extreme anger approach. Let's do everything. We want to be everything to everyone. They have every touch point. There's money. It's called just the throw it on the wall and see what sticks approach.
Yes, and both of those in equal measure, I would say. But you are all going to leave here today and not do either. So obviously, there's got to be a better approach to this than angry babies help to make our points here. So let's review some of the amazing PSA campaigns over the course of both of our media's lifetimes.
And the thing is, is whenever you have a lack of things to say in presentations, it never hurts to put in a child, no matter what organization it is, or a shameless puppy dog. So these are just some great PSA audio messages. Now granted, we didn't want to encumber you with lots and lots of messages, because oftentimes you're not going to come to us with a professional message already. You're going to need help developing that message and help with the production of that message as well.
These are the sounds of someone taking their eyes off the road. Texting while driving is more than distracting. It's dangerous. Do us all a favor. When you're on the road, stay off the phone. A message from CTIA, America's Wireless Companies, and the National Safety Council.
1 in 5 children in America go to school hungry every day. I'm Viola Davis. I was one of those children. I was one of the nearly 17 million kids who worry where their next meal will come from. Join me with the Safeway Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation to help us end childhood hunger. Help undo hunger for America's children. Go to hungeris.org to learn more. Learn more.
Aw, there you are, little guy. Yeah, I can see why you're tired. You had a big day yesterday. So happy we were able to bring you home. Look at that full head of hair. You look just like your mom. Deciding to wake up? Here, let me take your blanket. Here, give me the blanket! Playful little guy.
Isn't it time you brought home a new baby? Visit SiouxlandHumaneSociety.org.
Just some varying degrees of some different ones, but there's a couple things that all of those had in common, and that you guys should always remember when you're putting together a PSA, and we're going to show you some of the ways with which to do that and best practices afterwards. All of them made some sort of connection. I think Andre also, connection and hope. He really spoke to the fact of leading with positivity, empowering, enabling people that they can make a change, that they can do a difference, that their organization can make a difference. Also, a website and direction. This is vastly important. People, when they're hearing all those different messages during the day, how are they going to then connect back to you? How are they going to find you? No longer are the days that people would hear a phone number and then they would call or they would go back to their yellow book. But they're going to Google your name. They're going to look at your website. You need to tell them where to go and exactly what to do. Go to this website and donate now, or whatever it might be your message. A staggering statistic always sticks in people's minds. Always sticks in people's minds. What is it about your organization that is amazing? When we talk about marketing, I say it's really what makes you, excuse my language, what makes you suck, which is successful, unique, and credible. And think about those things. What makes you successful, unique, and credible? And then finally, cross-marketing multiple touch points. You can see with Andre's campaign, for example, there was PSAs, there was billboards, there was social media, there was magazines, there was press releases, there was news coverage. If it were as easy as putting some money and spending some money with a billboard or spending some money on social media, everyone would do it. But it is about making sure that your message is concise, to the point, and spreads across multiple medias.
And then we get into the billboard side of things. Everything that Kris just said goes exactly to billboards, except we lose the element of emotional connections. So,
But you've got the pretty visuals.
yeah, it's true. So everything that you are hearing on PSA radio stuff, or anything that you're hearing on TV commercials, or anything that you're hearing or seeing in a print ad, all of it needs to be corresponding together, because then we have the ability to back it up for you on the billboards. So everything she said, but with the graphic elements, keeping in mind a nice clean design. You can see everything here, especially if it's a nonprofit that comes to to work directly with our office and lets us put together the creative for you. We have an award-winning team in my office. It's all included with doing business with Clear Channel to get you guys the best possible creative that goes up on the streets, because amazing placement with horrible creative does absolutely nothing for you as well. We like to keep it to 8 words or less using the really heavy, thick fonts. It seems very simple. You could have the world's most beautiful magazine ad, but guess what? It doesn't translate to a billboard. Big, bright, bold, beautiful colors, and then again, one clear, concise message. Whatever your ultimate goals are, whatever you're needing to do, billboards can do one thing really, really well as long as you are very clear on what you need it to do. So then we're going to just do, too bad it's not Thursday, we're going to do some throwback PSA billboards over the course of time. And I apologize, they're a little faded out from the lighting, but you can see some, anything from 1920s-ish to 1960s is what you'll see here. So the Uncle Sam, the Red Cross messaging, and just keep the car around so that you believe me. There's our Boy Scouts, making sure that we all know how to use our turn signals out of the car, which I don't know why that would have been appropriate. But some of the really cool, and again, these were all when they were hand painted too, so I can only imagine what they would have looked like when they were live in black and white color. Again, helpful traffic tips: don't be turning from the center lane. I would have never known that that was an issue back then unless you had billboards behind the scene. Some PSA campaigns that were really hitting the emotional side. Again, we don't have the vocal abilities, but talk about telling someone they killed someone on a billboard. That's gotten a little bit softer now. We don't do that so much anymore. Again, another really hit home this point here. And again, and this was very, very common, but it. And then all of our friends. We all remember Smokey the Bear, one of the most tried and true PSA campaigns of its time. But still, speaking to those qualities of an outdoor campaign. Simple message, great vibrant, you can't see the color, but great vibrant color that's painted on here, and it's only doing one thing. It's reminding you to take care of the environment. That was it. That's all it was doing, was just an awareness campaign that kicked off the entire longevity of this campaign. And then just some additional creative that's currently going on in today's world, and just because you're doing a nonprofit that you may not think is super exciting, or something that's not really relevant to a major media campaign, here's something that was from the letter carriers, the post office. They get together every year, have a bunch of people donate, and they collect your non-perishable items. We turned it into an interactive kind of digital campaign where it interacted with commuters, and we did a countdown of their services. So it's one of those, try us and we'll see what we can do to get people to notice your organizations. As well as the United Arts campaign, just putting up some local creative from some of the schools in the area, and it was just beautiful stuff that we featured on a community level. As well as some of the local organizations to get people, again, to do that one thing. So visit their website because they're looking for your donations now. And Andre already spoke about it, but here's the campaign that we did with him and its longevity. We did a tease and reveal around town. So we did for the initial copy along the top of them. We're all out for 20 days, and then 4 weeks later we did the second round of them that were at the bottom. So it was a real engagement with our community with just one simple messaging on a static billboard. And it also happened to win because of the creative behind it and the amazing team that we had with Andre, a Best in Out of Home Awards. So now it is seen on a national level. So everybody that happened to be participating in the Out of Home, it's kind of like the Oscars for Billboard Land. They've all seen his campaign, and now his campaign has taken off on an awareness level that I'm sure he never even dreamt coming this soon for him.
7 tips to ensure you won't be just part of the blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's funny, interesting now, if you go down a lot of I-4, the messages that you hear and even the pictures that you've seen have become so much more of either scantily clad women or loud rock and roll, because people are all fighting for that share of your attention. So these are just 7 steps to remember when either submitting for PSAs or looking for a little bit of additional support from the media. Many of you probably already know many of these, so it's going to be a good refresher course. Step number 1, lead time. Many times we get messages or opportunities to share events that are going on or specific campaigns, and they could be starting next week, or the event is next week, and it's just clearly it's not enough lead time with which to either make an impact on our part or do any due diligence for that. It's important to know that both of us have PSA goals from a community standpoint to fulfill. We're not in any lack of actually things to fulfill those community standards and PSA goals. But that doesn't mean that we can't always put more in. We get thousands and thousands of entries annually about, hey, can you help our organization? These things will help you guys cut through the clutter with which to be better prepared and to get more media. So the first one is the lead time. 12 weeks, please, that would be a great minimum. Defining your audience. Who do you want to target? What kind of corporations or businesses do you want to most affiliate with? Who are your heavy donors? For instance, if say you're a agency that works with, you're a rock and roll, there happens to be a nonprofit in town that is a breast cancer awareness nonprofit, and they tend to be a little bit more rock and roll than the other ones. And their heavy donor happens to be a male that's 35, 54, it's a Harley-driven guy. Like, who is that super donor for you? Well, you would then probably not want to target the radio station that lends to the woman that's 18, 21, that's hot AC, that's Bruno Mars is playing on. Or you probably wouldn't want your billboard to be in a certain area where that's a high, dense population for that. And Melissa would be able to tell you those things. So how can you define who you want to talk to and then talk to a marketing professional about how do I reach those people, corporations, individuals, donors? So go for it.
I think this just goes back to number one again, because I can't help but reiterate, timing and pre-planning and all of that and backing everything up gives us the ability to look and see what the great picture of all the PSAs are in our offices and actually planning it to meet the need and fit the need of what your event's going to be. We don't typically do billboard buys for less than 4 weeks, which most major media companies don't either, any less than a month or so, because it's just not going to be as effective. So somebody says, oh, we're going to run you for 1 week and it's going to be solid. You have earned the right to question them at this point because it's not going to help do what you need it to do. If it's a general market, full awareness campaign, 1 week of hoping and praying you're getting that exact person you need during those mentions, it's just not it. So 4 weeks again, backing it up and making sure that you're being so concise with what you need us to help you accomplish during that time frame.
It's also amazing how you can turn any holiday of the year, whether it be a St. Patrick's Day, a Valentine's Day, a spring into a New Year's resolution, into a theme of your PSA. You might have an ongoing message that you have every year, but how do you transform that to make it a little bit more exciting, to delight that niche once again during February? So it's a sweetheart of a this, or during March you're getting, get lucky because it's St. Patrick's Day. So you can transition and you can theme them accordingly to make it just a little bit more palatable for media and a little bit more fun as well.
But again, because you're working with your team of people, that's not all on you guys to figure that out. Your time is to come to us and say what you needed to do. Our job is to come up with all of these kind of things behind it to make it do the awesome St. Patty's Day stuff and the Valentine's Day stuff. We have creative teams that do nothing but want to do that all day long, so give them all a shot. And this, yes, I feel like we've hit home on this one pretty well. Call to action. Between all of our major medias, get people to do something. Give them something actionable to do. Request something of them. That's not a, hey, I would like it if you notice, blah, 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 blah. Give them 4 or 5 action words saying, please donate now. Go to this website. Please call this exact now. It's not an option when you're a PSA. You need them to do something or it's wasted exposure for you guys.
And it's that much more important to have your website up to date. It becomes your brand ambassador. Now maybe you can't afford this super amazing flat, and that doesn't have to be it, but when people go there, what can help you guys with this? When people go there, what are they going to see? Because, as Andre said, perception is so much. So when they go to that website and they see a well put together or a very thought concise or a statistic, some clean things on there, it can make them either click on to another website or stay there and learn a little bit more about your organization.
Well, it helps get through the media people too, because of course I do my due diligence. I can't just put anybody up there on our product. I will go research you as well. And if it doesn't look like your websites are telling your story, or it doesn't quite seem like all of your ducks in a row, our medium probably can be used best on somebody else that may have already taken a few extra steps. Man, I think we're on a roll here. Plan it. Be on time. Head of the game.
Yeah. Be on time. Also, when you connect with your media people on something you're talking about, doing a little media homework, know who your players are in town. Know your different agencies. Know your different television stations. Know your different radio stations. Know your different reporters, your different television people. Maybe find out what's important to them. See what they're involved with. I know that for us, we have 9 radio stations. I can hardly keep up with them myself, but do some media homework and know who your people are. So when you connect with them, you don't just blanket the message. We're still in the same industry that you guys all are, and it's all about relationships and connection. How do I connect with my listener through Magic 107.7? That connection is going to be very different than when I relate with them on Monsters in the Morning on 104.1, as I relate to them with Bud on 5:40 a.m., as when I relate to them on Rumba, our Spanish station in the morning, 100.3. So be on time. That also means that when you connect with them, be prepared. Have your PSA ready. Have a messaging ready. Have some details, because there would be, you get all excited and you connect with them, and then what happens? Keep that momentum going. Statistics, a picture, and then afterwards, follow up. People and media companies want to feel that they helped you do something really awesome.
And you just summed this up really nicely too. Again, I think the overall arching thing with our steps is be on time and then know what you're going to talk about and get their attention.
All right, there's some special tips and tricks. I love the Dos Equis mannequin. I usually don't go for a run, but when I do, I don't stop. When you go the extra mile, it's never crowded. So there are a couple tips and strategies.
So being on the receiving end of the media land, I'm going to let you in on some of the tips and tricks of what catches my attention and what really gets us all on board to make sure that we're getting you guys the best information for what you're doing. Come at us with a partnership opportunity. Don't just say, oh, well, we're going to put your logo at the finish line of this 5K and like 2,000 people are going to see it, and that's really amazing for the $50,000 donation you're going to give us. Not exactly what we're looking for. And granted, we want to be helping you, but come with a little bit more thoughtfulness behind. I mean, obviously, we are not looking for tit for tat. We are not looking for a 50-50 match on any of this stuff. But talk about who's going to be at your race. Who is going to be talking to this? What kind of other people are you meeting with that would like to benefit to know that Clear Channel was working with you guys to help partner for your races? There's always something in it. The major corporations would like to know, maybe Buddy Dyer's coming out to open the race. Maybe there's going to be the entire Orlando Police Department's going to be down there, and it's great to always be affiliated with any of the city organizations. So there's always something in it for the media companies, and the more value you can add for them, again, the higher on the list you get to when you're talking about what we can do for you guys.
And that's also, I mean, it's very cool to think that we talk about integration and, synergy. It's an interesting marketing word now used oftentimes. Synergy between companies and nonprofits. A lot of times, the media companies are very interested in also reciprocity of sharing your message. We know that we have some of the biggest voices in town, and we get to share some of the good that you do, but maybe there's a way for us to connect on a deeper level. And when you connect on a deeper level with that company, whether that means that you cross-promote your logos on T-shirts, or you have one of the radio DJs being a judge for this, or just some other different ways to talk about and open that there's maybe a dialogue there, you can oftentimes get a lot more from a media company, knowing that they can also do something back. It's still very, very, very important for all of us to be connected with the community and with all of our listeners, with all of our eyes on the streets. So that's important to us as well.
And then we couldn't get away without doing this as well.
A little cash.
It does make a difference. And I know our organization has had to start doing a PSA rate card just for planning purposes. You never know what you guys have out there for grant money in 2015 or 2016 or down the run, or you may not have it right now, but in 6 months it's looking like you're going to have this X amount of dollars. when you ask for 100% free things, and I know you can talk to the same thing, there's just no guarantee that you're going to go up. So if you are banking on some kind of media coverage for your event, or you're banking on some kind of coverage for your donation campaign that's going to start, unless you have some kind of something to be throwing, and it is nowhere near rate card, I mean, it's really, really, really good PSA rates, that's what gets you the placement on our companies. It's not going to be prime I-4 real estate for us. It's not going to be like the really stunner boards that you're fighting with Universal or Disney for in our lives, but it's going to be the second best. It's going to be guaranteed placement that you're getting up on locations. It's not going to be we're all going to cross our fingers, and if we have space, you'll tend to go up, and we'll throw you in here at the early morning shifts. Like, that just to us is really the key factor between being a really serious nonprofit and really knowing your clear visions for where you're needing to go and creating a budget for your advertising campaigns. That's just that next step from you being at this level to the next level is when you actually can have a conversation about any type of an advertising budget.
And that also goes to the effect of now there are oftentimes, all of us do free advertising and marketing for lots of companies all the time. But there is, as I said, there is no guarantee. But what else can we do here? Where can we start the conversation? Where can we start a relationship today that's going to last a couple months down the line? So maybe the money isn't available right now. How can we make a little bit available? Or how can then we say, well, we'd like you, Kris, Clear Channel, to be part of this dynamic event. We're going to do this, reciprocity. You know what? Can we give away an awesome VIP experience giveaway? Can we give away tickets to the event on air? Can we do something else that would bring a lot of value to your listeners or to your viewers or whatnot? What more can we do? And then the other thing is that there are lots of corporations, and I used to work with lots. When I had a small business marketing agency, I worked a lot with mostly nonprofits. And a lot of them had, what we found is a lot of opportunities with their sponsors, with their donors, who underwrote some of their messaging. Because there are lots of corporations out there that do donate, that do give back to you, and that we want to be part of something good. So maybe with their donation, they can get something out of it, whether it be an on-air interview, whether it be a billboard with their company's logo on it. So there's really opportunities to also look at your donors and look at some of your sponsors, and maybe they can help you out just a little bit. That's where the discussion starts.
Yep.
Start the discussion with, well, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is how can we work this? How can we work this with, is there an opportunity for our donors? Well, before I present it to them, what might they get back in return? Leverage, a little bit of back and forth. Some really good tips. Free is great, but how can we go and be awesome?
Well, I mean, in Andre's campaign, his Billboard campaign, that was completely a donor that donated the production cost for his campaign. So it is proof in the pudding right there. And then just a brief thank you from us on everything that you guys do. I know on a first-hand basis, dealing with a lot of you guys and a lot of people in the nonprofit world, what you do on an everyday basis is far harder than anything I will ever do in my entire lifetime of media. And kudos to all of the work and the impact that you guys do on a daily basis. So thank you for your time.
Thank you guys so much.